I feel a little bit... We're going to switch now drastically, and I feel a little weird about this, to go from Heart of Dixie to Dexter.
We should have rearranged these orders.
We probably should have. Very, very different shows. And at least in my case, a very, very different grade.
Me too.
D. Alright.
Okay.
D+.
So close to getting another win.
I know. I agonized over this one.
Dexter was... This hurts me.
Yeah, Dexter was my favorite show for the longest time, and that's why I gave it such a low grade, was because it's fallen so far, in my opinion. I think that it's turning itself around in episode 10 and episode 11, but I think at that point in a 12-episode season, it's too late to salvage the season. And they go somewhere in episode 11 that I was just like, absolutely, I will, if it fully goes there and they commit to it. I'm not going to say it in case you guys haven't seen it yet, but if they commit to it, I will not be watching season 7. And it's just it's a shame, because I felt like that character is so unique and so interesting, and Michael C. Hall does such a great job at like giving him color where he could have been just one note. And I just, bringing religion into the story, I think could have been really fascinating. Right. I just feel like they beat you over the head with a lot of it, and I feel like the twists and the reveals were so obviously set up that I saw them coming and then said, this show is too smart for that. What's the real twist? And then there was no real twist. It was just what we all thought it was going to be.
Right. People were guessing that episode 2 of the season.
Exactly. And even with Lewis, even where Lewis has gone, and we still don't really know fully, obviously, what's up with him, but...
That's a bad sign. I can't remember what the heck you were talking about.
Exactly. I mean, and I really like Josh Cook.
That's what I'm like, oh, right, him. I adore him.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's just too obvious and too on the nose, and I don't know if they've dumbed down to try to get a new audience. I don't know.
Which they don't need. They're getting record numbers.
Exactly. That's what I mean, that's why I'm just so baffled, completely baffled by this season and disappointed, hence the D+.
Yeah. This hurts because, I get asked, I'm sure you get this all the time too, people ask me what are my favorite shows.
Right.
And it's always hard to pick just one, but if I was like, well, let me give you 3, and one of them would always be Dexter.
Not anymore.
No. I mean,
if you say Dexter seasons 1 through 5, and I don't like to ever do that.
Right, which is what I don't do. And so, when I was actually really excited about the season. I loved the show. I didn't actually have a problem with last year. I know a lot of people did. I thought there was really only so much you could do after what happened in season 4.
Right.
And I felt like what happened last season was perfectly acceptable. It was perfectly enjoyable, and it was still a quality, great show. And there were enough twists that I was watching it and not entirely sure what was going to happen. Like the final, the Deb situation, the finale, I was like, oh, they could actually go there. And they didn't, and I respect that. I understand why they didn't. And then the season is, I love Edward James Olmos.
Right. But he was underused.
No, but I'm saying, I was so excited going into this. I was excited to see what Colin Hanks would bring to the role. Most Def. I mean, there was so much that could be going on here that I was really, really excited about. And religion is a very tricky topic that if you push the wrong buttons, it could be catastrophic. And if you, play it too safe, it could have the equal effect, I think. And... there's just been I'm watching, for instance, just looking at Quinn, for instance.
Yeah, he's turned into a buffoon.
And it's like...
he's the, Rex Lee was always the comic relief. Right. But it was okay.
You were laughing with him.
Yeah, you were laughing with him, and he wasn't in a position where he was putting people in danger.
Right.
Or, messing up his life or his job. And I understand why Quinn had to spiral, but I don't like that they've made him a laughing stock. I think the drinking and everything is an interesting character point, and I think Deb needs to step up and as his boss now ultimately be like, what are you doing? But it's not funny, you know, and I just think that that's the wrong approach to take, and that, it's such a little thing, but I feel like that's the way I feel about the entire season, that's the wrong approach to take. No matter what they've delivered me this season, I feel like they've done it a disservice by doing it the way that they've done it.
Right, and it's like, for me, a couple years back, I was worried they were going to kill him off because he was getting on Dexter's trail. Yeah. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my god, this is going to be what happens again. He has to kind of deal with this again. And especially because Deb was involved with him, it's like, okay, or there was kind of interest. I was like, this is going to stink because I liked his character.
Me
and
too.
This season, it's been like, okay, it feels like almost all the characters have been sacrificed. Like, Maria's barely in it. Deb is adjusting to her new job, and it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And it feels like just so much of the season is just existed versus moving me to want to watch. I mean, I used to, when I get these screeners, I'd be like, more. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, okay, I have the screener.
I watch because I feel like I should.
And it's also, I probably feel like I should watch before I get spoiled, because I did get spoiled on one thing.
Okay.
But aside from that, it's not like, great television, let's watch it right now. And it's disappointing, because even at the lowest part of the series for me, I never felt like it. I never didn't care the way I don't care right now.
Yeah,
and that sucks.
And to know there's 2 more seasons, I'm really scared about what they're gonna do. Whether that 2 seasons they're writing to the end at the end of that 2 seasons or not, I'm just scared at what they're gonna do to because I feel like in a lot of ways they have tarnished some of the characters.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know that they can all come back from where they brought them, and I want to pretend this season ever existed. And I'm really this is not a good note to end this podcast on.
We totally failed at planning,
We had such great grades in the beginning, and we've made such a downer. But I have more cards because
remember how Hard Dixie got a B+, guys?
That wasn't that long ago. I gave Supernatural an A-.
Okay, fine. That was the nicest grade I gave.
Oh,
I was
true.
Trying to be like, hey, you're gonna be positive.
So, but I have more cards because we also discussed comedies. So we're going to have to come back and talk about our grades for 5 different comedies for this season.
So make sure to stay tuned.
Yes.